What's going on, guys? This is IkeGuitar, and today we're reviewing the Kemper Stage. Let's dive right in.
Intro done.
What's going on, guys? IkeGuitar here. Hope you're doing well. I am Ike, and this is my good friend Robbie. Robbie is a worship leader with Renegade Music Ministries, and he has got us a brand new toy we're going to try out today. We're going to see if this Kemper Stage can really hold a par modern music for musicians, and we're going to see how great it sounds. Robbie, give us a story about why you got this Kemper Stage.
Because amps are a pain to lug around.
They are.
Like, no joke. And I've always battled the stage volume, and I think it's a cool opportunity to have different amp sounds, whereas you're not just lugging your one Fender Deluxe around, you can get Fender Marshall, Box, all the other
amps.
All Matchless, all of them.
Actually, Kemper has been around for quite a bit now, at least 4 or 5 years as far as I'm aware. They released their toaster model and their powered amp toaster models way back in the day, and then I say way back.
Is it like 10 years?
It's been a long time, but we have other brands like Line 6 making stuff. The Helix has come out after the Pod HD 500s. Remember the pods?
Remember the little red ones?
Yeah, the kidney pods and the Pod HDs, the 400 and 500s.
I've passed on all of those.
Yeah, so this is definitely one of the, this is definitely one of the more, gold standards of guitar amplification and artificial, guitar amplification out there. It uses all computer digital signal processing to make your tone sound the way it is. And the cool thing about the Kempers is that Kemper gives you essentially a way to profile amplifiers in a set state and time. So you have a lot of people taking their vintage amps, essentially cloning snapshots of these amps and loading them in their Kempers, and they sound pretty freaking fantastic. On stage and in the studio. So we've got a lot of Michael Britt's one of the well-known amplifier profilers out there.
Yep.
You can buy his profile packs online. He's got tons of different vintage amplifiers.
Some come with the Kemper.
And some come with Kemper, yeah. So Kemper does give you a lot of stuff, and we're going to dive in and see just how great this thing sounds. All right, we're going to open up this Kemper. Let's do this. Wow!
It's got plastic and styrofoam.
It's almost like it's never been opened before.
It's almost never been opened before. So it looks like, multi-effects processing pedal board.
So just looking at it right here, I'll kind of get this in the shot for you guys to see.
Well.
So it looks really nice, doesn't it? Okay, so essentially what we've got going on in this Kemper, what I like about it is that it's huge. You can't miss the fact that this thing is not going to be missed on stage. It's a pretty massive pedal board. With that, it is pretty heavy. What do you say? It's about
10 pounds.
10 pounds or so?
Yeah, which I don't think is that heavy. It's lighter than your pedal board, probably.
It's definitely not, heavier than this one for sure. But it's got a lot of options on the back here. What we got on the back is we've got main outputs, we've got returns for different effects, we've got a MIDI in, MIDI out, and of course USB for using the UI.
Pedal loops.
It's got definitely a lot of features. What I like about this is that we haven't taken the plastic off. I'm proud of you.
No, I barely touched it.
Yeah, this is a brand new.
Man.
But it's pretty much got everything you'd want on the Kemper foot switch. If you ever had a Kemper model or a Kemper profile toaster, you could buy a foot switch for about $400 extra, and it's pretty much this bottom half of the Kemper.
Yes.
So you could buy that.
But I think one of the things I saw was they spread these out. They said the remote was the buttons were too close together, so they spread these out so that you're not stomping on two things at once.
So just before we begin, a little bit of an anecdote. So Robbie and I went to see Mr. Kemper at Guitar Center at Summer NAMM 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Summer NAMM 2018. We saw Mr. Kemper. He was doing a thing with he was doing a thing with Tone Junkie at the Guitar Center in Nashville. And what's interesting about the story is that he opened it up for questions. And I asked him, are we going to get a UI for the Kemper, and are we going to get a Kemper cabinet, essentially? And he said, we're not going to tell you what we're going to offer next year. So we have things in the works, but we're not going to tell you. I was a prophet. It came out. Anyway, we're going to plug this in and see how this sucker rocks. All right, Robbie, you want to do the honors and turn the sucker on?
Yeah, man. Boop.
So how long does it take for this thing to boot up, you think?
Let's time it. A couple of seconds. Less. I mean, pretty quick.
It's definitely faster than my Profiler toaster box.
Is it?
Yeah, definitely faster than that.
So if it's update successful, so if it's connected to your computer, it's gonna make sure all your rigs are up to date. So that may take another minute or two, but it's not long at all. It goes pretty quick.
So, Robbie, we've got the Kemper connected to the recording rig. Give you guys some of the sounds. We actually did play around with the Kemper a little bit just to get an idea for what it feels like under our hands. What I do really like is, like the Kemper Profiler, if you have the foot switch that costs you an extra $400, you can definitely see we've got a whole bank of different presets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, along with our effects chains up here right in this middle part of the board. They're all pretty accessible. Robbie, do you feel like it feels good underneath your feet when you're playing it on stage?
Yeah, stepping on it's easy. And you can see it, the whole signal, what is that, signal chain?
The signal chain.
Is laid out right there, so you can see the lights are bright, you can see what's on, what's off. They're color-coded, which is cool. Your reds are like your distortions, and your blues were more compressors, right?
Yeah.
Or noise gate or something.
Yeah, so the cool thing about the Kemper is that you can do all of the editing inside the actual Kemper Profiler itself, but you can also do it on the Kemper UI on your computer at home. It is a little tricky on Windows. I found it's a bit more intuitive on Mac because Robbie has a Windows computer.
It is what I could afford.
Anyway, so we did dial in some sounds for us here. And what I do like about the Kemper is because it's all in one, everything's kind of compact and easy to get to. You are going to have to bend over and move all those knobs if you are going to do it on the actual remote itself. Kemper Stage, my bad. But we're going to play some sounds for you guys. I've got just a basic, just test performance we got locked in here. Just some distortion, some gates, some delay, see how they sound. We'll see how good this Kemper Stage sounds like it boasts about. And we are going to figure out if some of these modern presets are going to have what we want. Obviously, all of these presets are coming stock from Kemper Stage.
Minimal tweaking from us.
Minimal tweaking. We're just going to kind of see how they sound, if we can get some good sounds coming out of it. So let's plug her in.
Can I just say your strap is really pretty?
Thank you.
It's got flowers on it.
I appreciate it. My brother got it for me for my birthday.
It's a sharp strap.
All right, the sounds I'm going to be using my Les Paul 1990 Studio going to the Kemper, and that's pretty much it. It's got a Fender twin reverb style amplifier going into our amp section, and we've got essentially a compressor, a screamer, distortion pedal, a noise gate to kind of curb any noise we get from that distortion pedal, and then a second green scream, which is going to be their tube screamer style pedal, followed by another noise gate because gates for days, and then we've got essentially a rotary, and we've got a delay and a reverb. Pretty basic stuff here. Let's check it out. We're just going to play for you guys our first signal chain. It's just a compressor without anything on it. You all heard that before. All right, we're going to add in our distortion pedal now. What do you think it sounds like compared to a tube screamer you've played with in the past? What do you think about it?
So I think it's a little more balanced sounding. So tube screamers for me have always been a little unruly, and I think a little sharp sounding, a little harsh sounding. So I've never been a fan, but I think that is a little more well balanced.
I will say, going through the Kemper's actual gain stages, there's enough to get you by, but the actual amount is pretty much static to well-known pedals we know today. They have essentially a big muff style fuzz, they have a rat sounding distortion, they have tube screamer sounding distortions, even some clon kind of styles. Yeah. But they're all pretty much in categories. It's up to you to do the tweaking to see what gain sounds looks best for you. I think what we've seen, I've kind of been spoiled about this, is that looking at a more modular pedal board, we have a ton of gains for everything under the sun, every kind of flavor, every kind of form factor, every kind of color. I mean, on this board alone that I'm showing you here, I've got like 5 different gain pedals doing different things. This one kind of dumbs down the gains for you into like very specific, well-known categories that do require a good bit of tweaking for each guitar. But the cool thing is that you can switch between them pretty seamlessly in the scene selection.
You save them, yeah.
So we're gonna add in the actual rat style distortion now. was our tube screamer style distortion. Got a lot of noise coming out of that. Let's
turn that first gate on.
Let's put our gate back on and see if we can.
There you go.
What do you think about that rat distortion? I did.
So that's like a harsh, like,
it's got a lot more
like
gain on it.
Punk rock kind of.
Yes.
Go for it.
I wouldn't say you'd use that in worship music, but you never know.
I mean, you could.
You could.
You do that old Delirious song. I don't remember.
Yeah, but I do. I mean, obviously some tweaking right off the bat. We didn't do a lot to that rat when we put it in line.
Right
so
in there is fine.
You could probably warm that sucker up a little bit more. But honestly, in like a mixed context when you're playing live, you might want something that bites through like that rat sound does, and that might be helpful for like a an elevation worship, some of that magic.
Yeah. Whatever you say.
It could bite through. That's what we're saying.
And you can get some of those 80s lead tones out of there. Too.
Right.
Put a bunch of verb on it and stuff.
Right, we could add a chorus and stuff. Let's add the reverb in, see how we like the reverb. We did add a very Jesus-sounding reverb.
Yeah.
With at least 2 seconds of just trails.
Jesus loves reverb. Still, it's great.
Definitely did use the reverb just right off the preset. Didn't really tweak it too much except for the decay time.
Yeah.
You could definitely use an EQ after that reverb if you felt like the reverb was too harsh to your ears. You can definitely darken up that reverb, which does offer a lot of like customization with the reverbs you're putting into
the rig manager effects settings.
Right.
So you could do a lot of.
And we did find there's a ton of good reverbs you can put in there. I found that like. They did release a patch a little while ago, probably about a year ago, that added a lot more really good reverbs. I've seen it get to Big Sky level sounding reverbs. Mm-hmm. The Cirrus reverb is one of my favorites. They definitely have an ionosphere reverb, and those things are endlessly tweakable. So if you found a specific reverb you really enjoy, you can definitely tweak the crap out of it and make it into a perfect kind of reverb soundscape style sound for whatever you're playing, whether it be simple stuff or more ambient style licks.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue I would say with this guy is that it's not even that much of an issue. It's just that to dial everything in, it's going to take time to get it all in. But once you got it all set and ready to go, you're just hitting buttons.
And there's a couple philosophies I found online with setting up a Kemper for worship music. The first one is that you have scenes with specific snapshots, and every scene has 5 different snapshots you can do per scene. So if you wanted to do a song, for example, you could set up an intro, a verse 1, a verse 2, a chorus, a bridge, or whatever. But I've seen a lot of people saying, I just want one amp sound for one song, and I want to be able to stomp foot switches on and off to be able to get those sounds, and that could be endless to how many songs you could put into this thing, really. And I think overall, I've typically used a pedal board with my Kemper, but I think for a lot of people who don't have the money to buy all this extra gear, the all-in-one solution does offer you a lot of flexibility as far as what you can get for your money.
Yeah.
Now, how much did this Kemper Stage cost?
I think they're $1,700 at the store.
Right. Okay. And you got your special discount.
I know people.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see what we can do with just the reverb and then just our first line of distortion. Turn off that noise gate. Noise gates are tricky, people. You want to set it so you get rid of the noise, but you don't choke out your dynamics. add in some delay.
Do it.
Hey,
I like the delays on this.
that kind of sounds really nice.
Yeah.
And delays really tricky. You kind of have to dial them in, but once you do, they can really add a lot to the sound.
Yeah. This is a solid delay sound.
I love delay sound. You could definitely add in more delay, more prominent mix in the delay.
Do you remember we loaded this?
That's the dual delay.
Yeah.
It's got a quarter note and it's got a dotted eighth afterwards. So, and you can add in more mix to your delay. Make the delays louder. It doesn't have to be so constrained within the actual sound. So what we really liked about this Kemper is that it does have a looper built in. If you guys use loopers, on the original Kemper, the actual toaster head, it actually came with the actual foot switch. It didn't come on the Kemper proper, so you had to buy an extra toy to be able to use a looper. But these are good for using it for jams or for using it to play a nice moment within an offering or something like that.
Ed Sheeran does them great.
Yes.
You know?
So if you're a master with the looper, you can definitely find some good sounds with it. But to start the looper, you press the play record button, and then you start, okay? And then you have a slow, like a fast forward, and you have a rewind and a half speed option too. So you can kind of play around with what you got here and kind of give you guys an idea of what the looper would sound like. So what the bro tip with using a looper is that I recommend playing your sound, get those reverbs moving, and then hit the looper when you're going in on bar one.
So if we just
So Robbie, overall, what do you think of the Kemper Stage as a worship leader? Do you think?
I think it's going to be a pretty universal tool.
Universal
tool for a lot of different types of music, not just worship music, but like being able to dial in exact tones and things for specific songs is going to be great. And I think, a lot of guitar players are going to love this thing.
So I think overall, my impressions of the Kemper Stage, it offers a lot of great things for every guitarist, no matter your skill level. But the issue is that the learning curve on figuring out this stage, even any Kemper style system, it takes a long time to figure out how to dial in things right.
Yeah, it's like learning. Remember learning music, learning guitar for the first time. It was like it's learning a new language, and this is just adding to that.
You all should go get a Kemper Stage. They're really fun. And let us know if you get one. Let you know what kind of tones you're getting out of this sucker. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. We make videos all the time. Robbie, thank you so much for coming by and gracing us with your Kemper Stage.
Thanks for having me in your studio.
So it's been a lot of fun. All right, guys, if you want to check out Robbie's stuff, I'll put a link in the description with his Renegade Music Ministries stuff. Check him out. He's a really great worship leader. He's a good guy. So check him out there. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.